Live from the Ivins, Texas Football Show, Week 3. Gary Ivins joining us tonight. How are you guys doing tonight?
Glad we got Tiger Woods back with us this afternoon. We're back.
We are back.
You call him the new Tiger or the old Tiger?
Well, the old Tiger. I would give you a definition of how he told me he played on Saturday, but I'll save that a little bit too confrontational content.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, one good thing, Pat got him a win.
Yeah, got to win. The score says 42-14, but I'll tell you what, early in the third quarter, I was a little worried. They got that ball back after a 3-and-out by us. The score's 14. They got it at midfield, but give the defense credit. They shut them down from that point forward, and we did some really good things offensively. But in the first half, I mean, we really could have scored about 40 in the first half.
Oh, no doubt. We could have did that easy. But, the big thing about this week, a lot of kids got to play. A lot of fresh new faces got out there and got some experience. And, that's pretty big, you get these kids going because you got a long season ahead.
Yeah, Waters does what Waters does, over 100 yards again. I think there's 2 games now, both over 100. What is it? Only 25 carries for 251 yards. He got 2 touchdowns, including that electric 52-yard run there in the second quarter. And that kind of showed us what Waters has, man. I'm sure glad he's on our team.
Yeah, one thing about Waters, I watched him today in practice, and it's like once he gets going and he gets the cutting, he's hard to tackle. He's not big at all, but he's shifty, and he gets in that new offense we have going. I just think he gets to do a little bit more different things. Catching passes out the backfield, and you go into 20 and a lot of those different things, and we got Coleman back there too. So you're sharing reps now, and you get Joker, then you get Taylor. So there's a lot of faces in there making some impact.
I was intrigued by Bailey. He gets 3 catches for, I think, right at 62 yards through the first quarter, and I think he ended up – I don't know who votes on players of the game, but I saw he got player of the game this week on social media. But, we didn't go back to him for the rest of the game. But, he caught all 3 balls that were thrown his way. And on that 4th and 10 there with the game, I think still score – I was on our second score. He caught that over-the-shoulder catch down there for 30 yards to get us in scoring position. I think Barraza eventually got his second touchdown of the year. That was one of the big plays on offense we had for the game.
Yeah, he had some big plays this week, and you talk about Barraza, he gets the end around right there in the red zone right there and punches it in. We definitely came off the bat swinging again, and that's something we've done the last two games. Is go off we come right at you swinging, and if we can keep that up and keep that going throughout the game, we're gonna be a hard team to beat.
Trey, our boys got up 14-0 and then went with the onside kick, executed to perfection on the Dragons. And that's when, it was about the middle of the first quarter. I thought we were about to score 100, but that drive stalled out and we missed a field goal. But what do you think about Coach Absett going for that extra point there? First quarter up 14-0. The onside kick.
I like it. I think it sent a statement. Rival Nax trying to show, who's boss, get the ball back there. And like you said, it was executed perfectly. Couple bounces right into the hands of our man. And the next thing you know, we get a ball. We do stall out a little bit. But like you were saying, Bailey made some big plays. Waters looked great. They were stacking the box the majority of the night to try to stop it. And he breaks off 2 long runs. And then, like you said, Bailey. There was one play into the second quarter. If he catches that one down the line, he is almost probably close to 100 rushing or 100 receiving yards.
Yeah, man, it's a senior that's worked his tail off for 3 years to get a chance at varsity. That's fun to see. The only thing that I came out negative on this was those scramble drills. And I asked Coach Absek about this Monday with this show at South First Bar and Grill. And they had about 4 big pass plays that went for over 40 yards. 2 of them went for touchdowns. And he mentioned the scramble drill, that the good quarterback got outside and he's rushing. We're going to see a lot of good running quarterbacks coming up in the next 4 weeks. I'm not smart enough to figure out what the problem is, but obviously that's got to be something that's got to be addressed. Maybe not this week, but I know John Tyler's got a kid that can run, as does Barbers Hill, and one of the best in the state. Port Arthur will be coming up here on the horizon as well.
Yeah, to be honest with you, what he had 6 or 8 rushes for 60-something yards, 80-something yards.
Well, once he got outside the pocket, it looked like I think our defenders had their eyes on the backfield, and that enabled us to get by him. And he was just chunking it deep. That was really their, I think they had 490 total yards, and 160 of those came on those 2 touchdown drives when they completed those 2 long passes. So
they have the boy out wide. What was he? 88, 82, the high jumper.
88, Lockett.
They just clicked over to him
last year in 5A2.
Yeah. No,
give him the rock.
I was looking at some of the film, and like you said, it was those fire drills. I mean, he breaks out of the pocket, runs into the flat, and then there's 3 white shirts kind of crashing down on him. They leave one guy open right there, and then he takes yards after the catch with another 30 yards almost, and ends up in the end zone. So.
Well, at the end of the day, we got to win. Nobody got hurt, as Coach told us on Monday. So it's it's not on to Cincinnati, but it's on to Little Rock's. What is this called? Southwest Arkansas.
Did you get a chance to see their campus?
Why would I do that?
Somebody had posted on Facebook. They have a phenomenal campus.
Mm-hmm.
And
does it look just like Allen's, or are we?
No, it kind of reminds you of Longview Stadium, but it's connected to the school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and everything's like it's all connected pretty much. It's pretty nice. I think they've been open 2 years, but they came down. We met them last year. We met them in Texarkana, right, last year?
Yes.
Yep.
We catch with Texarkana, and we absolutely dominated the whole game. And like Coach Absick said in the newspaper this week, they got a full year under their belt with their team and their kids and everything. So we might see a difference in them. But if you go back and look what they did last week, they struggled pretty bad last week. So I think that this was another big Panther win. Great way to kick off the season at home.
Well, they don't put their weights and heights on their roster, but I can tell you at least I won't say 2/3, just under half of the rosters are sophomores. So you can tell Coach Lewis is going to come in with a lot of youngsters that are probably have some ability, and as the season goes on, they'll probably get better.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, last year was their first year.
It was their first year of school.
Senior class. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're a magnet school. So
yeah. I mean, it's a brand new school. Googling it looks like they were founded in 2020, so that was their first year of seniors as of last year. So brand new program. School is really nice. But if I remember last year, I think we handled them pretty well up in Texarkana.
Yeah, no doubt. Got on them early. I don't think they got into positive yards till well into the second quarter, but I just think it's going to be a good night. It's a home game. The fans are ready to see a home game. We haven't been here in 2 weeks, kind of the opposite of last year, so it's going to be a good deal. 2 weeks in a row at home, and the home opener for Coach Carl Absick, and it's just going to be a different excitement for the kids. We got a lot of things going on early. We'll talk about that in a moment, but we really got build up some momentum after that win last week. I think this shouldn't be a big one, but you got John Tyler on the agenda next week. That's going to be a big one, rivalry game as well. No doubt.
Anytime we said it Monday, we got to talk. Anytime you get to see Lufkin and John Tyler kick off, Tyler High kick off, it's a big excitement. And they travel well, we travel well. They got a good band, we got a good band. They got athletes, we got athletes. And it's just one of those games that for a while, you didn't know which way it was going to go. And it seems like recently, we've had to, lead it with those guys, But we all know no matter how the season started for John Tyler, looking at where they've been this season so far, when they come play Lufkin, they're going to play up, and they're going to play us to beat us. And, that's just one of those games you got to be prepared for. They're going to be physical, they're going to be fast, and they're going to have some guys out there that are going to want to compete.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were drilling them last year. It was the middle of the third quarter, wasn't even close. And then right there in the middle of the third quarter, Preston went over the middle and made that catch on third down, but he came down awkward. And, he was laying there motionless for a long time on the field. It's one of the scariest moments I've ever been associated with broadcasting. And, they take him off on a stretcher, and we don't know anything. I'm in the booth, and you could tell we didn't play there for a while. And as can't really get mad at our kids. And then I think word came back that he was moving, and I don't know if that had anything to do with us going ahead and pulling away there in the fourth quarter. But, man, that was a scary time in John Tyler last year. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, no doubt. Me and Spoon were actually in the truck headed to Austin that weekend, and we had the game pulled up on the laptop in the middle console, and we saw Preston come down, and the stream stopped for a while, and we didn't know what had happened.
Yeah, we were sitting around texting. I was texting Haley trying to figure out. She just said it was a bad hit. He's not moving, and so everybody was holding their breath for a little bit.
Yeah, we finally got some word there a little bit later. It was good to go, so that was good. And then, obviously, he came in, and a little bit later, I remember he had some big plays down in the Galveston game, so he's back, and it was good to see, boy. But, it just played into a lot of more of the injury bug that we had last year, but I'm glad that serious one didn't turn out to be as serious as it looked.
Yep. All happy for that.
Now, before we move on, one guy I want to talk about for sure, Jamari Davis on that defensive line. Oh, man, he's had 2 huge weeks. And if he keeps it up, he might be, he reminds me a lot of Elijah Alexander, a lot of pressure in the backfield, a lot of tackles for losses. And, you talk about that defensive front four. You got Webb over there, you got Bogney, and, the rest of them, man, those guys are flying around the field playing their butts off.
I wish we could get a side-by-side picture of Davis last year as a junior or sophomore, and this year in those pads as a junior. You can see the work. That kid has put in some work. Not that he didn't look good last year, but he looks like a completely different kid this year, and he has dominated both sides, both games. He's been a pleasant surprise. He really has. And, we talked about – I thought that was going to be the soft spot of the defense this year, but you mentioned those guys. And don't forget about Whitaker as well, man. That kid has come out of nowhere. I call his name a lot.
No doubt. He's for sure held his own. And, our defense has been a strong point. Big shout out to our guy, Sam Smith and Keyshawn Waters holding that secondary down. And, we did a lot. Like, I like what Coach Absick says a lot. We said it week 1 at Longview. We did a lot of things right. Then you go to week 2, and, everybody wants to hang 60 on Nacogdoches. It's just something we're used to doing and all those. But, you come out and, like you said, we did a lot of things right. We got a lot of things to clean up. And, those are the good things about these early season games before you start district play. You got a chance to see what you got out there on the field and what you need to work on the most.
Yep, no doubt about that. And the way this district has gone so far this year, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I know Beaumont United's lost a couple of games in Baytown Sterling, but there's going to be 5 teams there vying for 4 spots, and I think everybody's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. You look at last week, Port Arthur Boreal gets a big win over Houston Legacy. They win last minute. Houston Legacy has the number 1 quarterback in the nation right now, and he takes off scrambling, and he gets hit at the 1 and falls back, and they end up getting a big win right there. And then Barbers Hill goes and beats a pretty good traditional Manville team. I know people said Manville hasn't been who they used to be, but anytime you go beat a 6A program like that, that's pretty big. And then Beaumont Westbrook gets a big win over Lumberton. Lufkin gets a win over Nacogdoches. Galveston Ball gets a win over Texas City. Beaumont United loses to Port Neches Grove. PNG will be a team for sure making a run in Division II this year. And Baytown Sterling loses to Glen, but they beat Galena Park 26-10.
Yeah, and if you look to this week, I think Barbers Hill has another interesting game. It's at home. Deer Park's not bad, and that's another score I'll be keeping a very close eye out as well. The rest of them, outside of Galveston Balls, probably has their hands full with Friendswood. Looks like it could be another good week here for District 10 or 9-5A.
Yeah, it looks good. You talked about the running quarterbacks earlier. I'm looking at what we had posted earlier. Amonte Martin, 48 passing yards for 2 touchdowns, then 242 rushing yards as a quarterback with 3 TDs running the ball.
So that Martin last name is not a foreign last name to Port Arthur. His older brother, Cameron Martin, is actually the running back coach and assistant head coach at Tulsa, coach for Gus Malzahn at UCF and all over the place. He was a running back for the Titans, highly recruited. I think he ended up going to Baylor. I know he was committed to TCU, then he ended up going to Baylor or Auburn. It's one of the two. But his brother ran the ball in the SEC or the Big 12 for a long time, and now he's coaching on the big-time level. So that name for sure. And we know Port Arthur. You look at them today, they got a cornerback going to TCU, linebacker going to A&M, a receiver going to Houston. Look, they got plenty of athletes. Yeah, and that's going to be a for sure big game. And for some reason, we got to miss that game, Nasty.
I'm not. What's that lineman's name? Tank.
Tank. That's the linebacker, Tank King.
Man, that guy can play whatever position he wants. He is a grown, full man. I was hoping he was a senior last year because we couldn't block him last year. I'm hoping you have a little bit better chance with him this year.
Yeah, you'll be at that game, actually.
Where will y'all be?
Somebody's getting married.
NOLA.
Well, I'm coming to the wedding too. I mean, y'all can't come to the game.
We got
I got a rehearsal dinner on Friday night.
I'm going to have to miss that.
Yeah.
I'll be off the week before that game.
We are.
No, the week after.
Or the week after. Let's try around that. Yep, hey, that's neither here nor there.
All right, we got the week after, we're going to be out.
Yeah.
Hey, what were you saying, Nasty?
I'm just listening.
Now, I was talking about that game last week. South Oak and Duncanville, South Oak had their shot going in that game.
Yeah, they took care of South Oak Cliff. It was a good game, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a very good game.
And now you look up in Longview's going to play South Oak Cliff this week. How about South Oak Cliff and the Bears making a schedule? That's pretty second to none on the schedule they're playing. That's a top 10 battle as well. You also got a Atascocita playing Westlake this week, so a couple of good games in that 6A realm. But Lufkin into the number 11. Huh?
Atascocita, they took care of Katie pretty good last week. Shout out to our guy Chris Dog at Lufkin alumni over there.
Yeah, that ought to be a good one. That's a 7-9 matchup. If you look down to 5A, Lufkin rose up to number 11 in the poll this week, and 1 and 10 in another. So I guess the hanging 42 on the Dragons was appealing to some people.
Wow. I think a lot of people lost.
Well, not really. I mean, Port Arthur won their game and fell down 3 spots. I'm trying to figure that out.
Oh,
really?
It feels like the AP poll with these high school polls.
Yeah, we got the service that we kind of get on to. Shout out to my boy Brian Bates for hooking me up with it. But Lone Stars 1, Aledo, Angleton's 3, LaPorte 4. Pflugerville Weiss is at 6. We're at 11. A&M Consolidated 13. Pam 14. College Station 19. And Barbers Hill at 21. That is the teams that are ranked in our region after Angleton.
Where's Angleton ranked at?
Number 3.
We're pretty good.
Yep. Well, LaPorte's 4, so they'll be battling that district championship in week 10.
Yeah, LaPorte got that new stadium over there. I hope they're taking care of it.
There's not a lot of big-time games this week. Nacogdoches does hit the road to Livingston, but one we'll be keeping an eye out on. Tyler High looking for their first win. They play the Dragons at Seagoville this week. That'll be up in Seagoville before they come down to Lufkin. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. And that'll be our final non-district ball game next Friday night here at the 8th.
That game kicks off at 7 next week also, right?
From what I tell, the rest of our games are at 7 o'clock unless I'm told otherwise. Even that Port Arthur game when y'all are in New Orleans.
I know. That's going to be a big one to miss.
We'll be watching.
Other games, Huntington's got Koontz. They got a chance to win a football game. How about Westwood playing all of East Texas? They hammered Shelbyville or SA last week. They're trying to play Timpson this week. We'll see how that goes. And Corrigan, Kirbyville, and, of course, your boy Coach Scott Green and all the guys over at Groveton will be playing the Lovelady Lions this week. And the sled might be a little tough again this week for the Indians.
You got a little experience with Lovelady. They're a pretty good ball team.
Yeah, they're real scrappy this year. They're picked to be in the hunt for that district championship. I don't know if they'll be able to get it out, but they are a pretty good favorite coming up on Friday against the Indians. And that is a hated rivalry.
Where's that game played at? Is that played in Groveton?
I think they're in Groveton this year. They're
going to kick it off in Groveton. This is Groveton's first home game, bringing that new turf in.
Boy, I thought they would have a little bit better luck at Trinity last week. I don't know much about Trinity other than they've been a stepping stone for the last few years, but they might have had some people come in or grow up because Trinity looked pretty good last week, looking at the score anyway.
I didn't get a chance to look at any of it, but, another big game coming in this week, South Lake Carroll versus Trophy Club. That's a big district rivalry right there. Well, they're not the same. Are they still do they start district play this week?
I don't think so, but you could be right.
Because I know they played. Because I know they beat Southlake Southlake lost their first district game in so many years, either last year or the year before, and Southlake ended up catching them in the district championship. and end up beating the brakes off of them. So I'm not too sure about that game right there. Tyler Legacy gets Marshall this week.
Yeah,
Marshall goes and
beat
plays Longview last
Tyler.
week.
Yeah, that was close, and Marshall beat Tyler by a point week 1.
So
Also, Huntington did win their first game. They beat Evadale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Evadale, Southeast Texas. But just going about the Pat Nasty, what sticks out the most to you so far through the season, going into week 3?
Well, the plethora of running backs, obviously, I really think the offensive line has done a good job, but at some day they're going to pack the box, and we're going to have to see if Javion can throw the ball and throw it on a dime. I know that's kind of what Longview did. We couldn't run the ball in the second half against them, and that film's going to get out, and that's going to be the blueprint. I don't think these next 2 ball games are going to be indicative of what we're going to be looking for when we start District 9 5A, but it does give 2 weeks for Javion to get on par or on the same page with the receivers, and I think that's the one thing that we got to have done here in the next 2 weeks. But obviously the best thing to me, I'm shocked, not surprised, pleasantly surprised by the guys on defense. I really thought losing those 9 starters, we were going to be playing shootouts each week, and that has just not been the case. They have coaches that came in and implemented a plan, and the kids have bought in. And to me, so far, that has been the number one thing.
What'd
you say?
What about you?
I'm the same way. Like you said, pleasantly surprised that front 4 on the defensive side of the ball has been very good, I should say. They look good. Some of the stunts they're doing up front looks really good. And then the running backs. I mean, the offensive line, the middle of it from watching a little bit of the Nat game back, the biggest success was running, between the tackles, downhill running, just kind of gouging them. And that's where the biggest success came from. And that's been, fun to watch as well.
If you look at the running back room, you got Waters, kind of your speed back, and then you got Coleman. He brings a little speed, a little power to it. Then you go with Joker, and he's just he can do it all. Catching out the backfield. He's kind of reminds you of a little Waters. And you look at Taylor.
So it reminds me of you.
Yeah. That's a good one. You look at Taylor, and Taylor, you let that kid get downhill, it's going to be hard to catch him in a foot race. And the reason he was running anchor on the relay team as a freshman, so we know he has some speed, and he can do a lot of things. But I'm just looking forward to seeing what we can do down the stretch. And like you said, Nasty, you got to get the passing game going. That's going to be key come district play. The film gets out, they see what we can. You stack the box, you take away our run game. But if Javion can get the ball out, and like you said, make those throws on a dime, we're gonna be a hard football team to beat, especially if our defense keeps playing the way they're playing.
Yeah, it's kind of been a rotation of outside receivers. We just hadn't gotten, last year you knew where you're going to get it. You're going to get it to Kevo, you're going to get it to Preston in the passing game. And so far, we tried to get Sanders involved. And of course, Bailey's out there and Wallace is out there, but CJ's out there. But he really hasn't honed in on that go-to guy when it's 3rd and 10 and everybody knows where you're going to throw it, and you still throw it and complete it. We haven't been able to get on page and find that guy yet.
And I think as the season keeps progressing, we play these last 2 games, you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of the passing game getting established and him getting more comfortable back there. And the good thing, like you said, our offensive line has played excellent so far this season. Shout out to Coach Cook and what he does with those kids because, our offensive line, this is a lot of these kids' 2nd, 3rd year playing on that offensive line. So, they should have the experience. They, know we're doing a lot of things different this year, but, it's one thing, you're putting your hand down the ground and blocking the guy in front of you. And I think we've been doing a great job of doing that.
Yeah. I agree with that.
As we move into, talking about something a little bit more personal, let's talk about those Florida Gators.
Yeah, it was not good. After Thursday night, I assume, everybody in the country was sitting their guys down and saying, hey, probably don't spit on the opponent. That'd be cool. That usually results in a penalty, but I guess number 90 for Florida didn't hear that. He might have been.
Florida did that too?
Yeah. At a critical drive. At that point in the game, it shouldn't have cost us the game, but it cost them the game. It was just all as shout out David Griffin likes to say, Sunbelt Billy, sunbelting all over the place. play calling was not great. It's a common theme usually when Florida loses. Somebody on the defensive side of the ball that they're playing against comes out, and an interview the next week is like, yeah, we just kind of knew everything that they were running. It's the same, like 5 or 6 plays that keep coming up. They show a little bit something different, but it's the same thing. So it wasn't great. It was 103 total penalty yards on 11 penalties, and it was probably more in the net of everything. I mean, 3 penalties took off. 2 super touchdowns.
Vandy had 11 penalties to Virginia Tech's 1 and still won by 24. So
I love that Vandy coach.
Penalties took away 2 touchdowns. And then at the end of the day, special teams has been a problem since Billy Napier has taken over. They've always had really good position players on the special team side. I mean, we've had draft picks at kickers. The punters have been signed. But the safety cost us a snap over the head. And then DJ didn't look great. He almost looked like he regressed a little. So that's not fun to think about if you've got who should be arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the country is regressing under a coach's tenure. So to say that the seat is hot is kind of an understatement. The gauntlet of a schedule over the next Florida in the next 4 weeks could play 4 teams in the top 10.
I was going to say it opens up for them after Saturday.
Do what?
I mean, LSU, Miami, Texas, A&M, Mississippi State, and Georgia.
Yeah. And then don't forget Florida State at the end.
So those ones I just mentioned, that's in a row.
Yeah, it's in a row. I know. Yeah. So it's going to be very bad. It's either there's 1 or 2 things are going to happen with the University of Florida over the next 6 or 8 games. Billy Napier will stand on his head. This team will be who kind of everybody who's a fan of them were hoping they were, and they somehow, win 5 or 6 games out of their next 8, or they're 2-10 at the end of the season, and Billy Napier is fired by the Mississippi State game.
All that's on the table.
Talk about Mississippi State. What a big win they pulled off this weekend.
That was an awesome. That's what. So I missed the cut at the mid-am, which was, as Nancy said, I was not very nice to myself, but I can't make a putt inside 12 feet. And then Florida loses the game in that style. And so obviously I'm a little mopey, a little mad, not wanting to talk, not very hungry. I mean, it made me sick to my stomach. And Haley, my fiance, looks at me. She goes, "Why do you let that affect your mood?" I said, "Well, it's because I've been waiting for this all year. I was so optimistic coming into this." She's like, "You're not calling the plays. You're not playing. Why does it affect you?" And then that play happens for Mississippi State. Their mega fan Brandon Walker's posted on social media everywhere. He's taking his shirt off, ringing his cowbell, yelling, hugging his kids. And I go, "That's why, because it makes you feel like that, and then it makes you feel like this. I can't help but let it affect my mood. I just can't."
Well, Jalen and I were all over Mississippi State, so Saturday night at Tia Juanita's, we might have had our own cowbells up there celebrating.
Yes, sir. Shout out to our guys at Tia Juanita's. We went over there Saturday, and we enjoyed some we had fried ribs. What else we get?
I don't know. Mama was all in it. I had to calm her down.
Yeah. What'd she order? What did she have? I can't remember.
Crab cakes. Crab cakes.
Crab cakes. We had fried ribs and crab cakes to celebrate that Mississippi State Bulldog win, but our guys, the Michigan Wolverines, just couldn't pull it off for us.
No, we were in on them. Kind of. It wasn't a big one. We had a couple of picks. That was our upset pick of the day. Was Mississippi State. I've kind of digged into the schedule this week too. I got another upset pick for you. We'll get to in a minute, but I think Oklahoma's pretty good. Michigan should have been tougher than that, and they were not. I don't know. I think that was more about Oklahoma being good than I think it was Michigan being bad. In my opinion.
I think it's the same thing. We have, Batir is, I think, who we thought he was, with that performance. And, Bryce Underwood's first big start on the road in Norman. Brent Venables had whatever record. I don't think he's lost to a true freshman quarterback, maybe ever. And so Michigan's going to be good. I think they need to loosen up a little bit and kind of let Bryce Underwood play. But I think Oklahoma and Batir I think they should be a top 10 team at this point, the way they've looked.
Well,
No
they'll
doubt.
have plenty of chances to prove it.
Yeah.
No doubt. What other big games do we have? You had Ole Miss and Kentucky. Ole Miss takes care of business. Nasty.
Boy,
We
did
actually
you
had
see
the
the
loss
ending of
this
that one?
weekend.
That game
Well,
was
I'm
always
giving 8.5, and Kentucky kicks a field goal with 7 seconds left to lose by 7. That was kind of a shot to the gut.
I know that didn't feel good. Missouri takes care of business with Kansas. We talked about South Florida beat Florida. Utah, man.
Utah looks good. They got a big one this week.
Yeah, they look good. That quarterback, I saw he moved in the Heisman rankings.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
As
Where
he
he
should
came
be.
from? Where'd he come from?
I think he came with the offensive coordinator over. Shoot, I was listening to it today.
Yeah, I was too, and I wrote it down. I can't find it in my notes.
Yeah.
Is
By the way,
can we talk about how bad Clemson looked against Troy?
Yeah, I wanted to say, is LSU not as good as we thought they were?
Well, we'll find out this week. They're only a 7-point favorite over Florida at home. I was kind of shocked by that after what Florida's gone through.
It's gone down. I think it opened at 9.5, 8.5, and it's down. Is it down to 7 now? Flat. I saw it was at 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Well, they put 23 up against La Tech.
We were all over La Tech in them 37 points last week, Pops. All over it. Sandwich
all over it.
We went over that Whataburger sandwich spot last week, Pops.
Yeah. But you said, Trey, Clemson does not look good. They got to find a run game.
Yeah, no one can run the ball for him. That's a problem.
That's a huge issue.
He whines a lot.
Sweeney? A little bit. Definitely a little bit.
They let Utah State kind of give them a little scared for a little bit, I thought.
Well, we got some big ones this week, including the big one at Tennessee. Boy, if I could go to a game. Oh, I am going to a game this week. It's not that one. But if I could pick any of them out, I think it would be that one, Georgia at Tennessee this week. And I don't know how that's going to go. I think Georgia's going to be
I think you'd have a lot more fun in South Florida with that South Florida versus Miami game.
Well, there's no doubt. But I am going to Ole Miss and Arkansas Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
Did you figure out what time you're leaving yet?
Yeah, I'm picking my boy up about 4 a.m. and we're going to head over.
Is it in Fayetteville?
No, it's in Oxford.
Oxford? That'll be fun. The Grove?
Yep, we're headed that way. Saturday morning after we beat up on Little Rock.
Yeah.
That Vanderbilt South Carolina game, that's going to be a big one.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt
It's not going to be talked about that much with the slate this week, but man, that game right there could expose South Carolina. Ranked number 11 in the country, Vanderbilt unranked still. And, you get that game, where are they playing at? They play in South Carolina.
I think it's,
yeah,
it's in South Carolina. They're not losing that game.
I think they do lose that game.
South Carolina.
Lenore Seller's really good. And Evan Stewart's really good. But, yeah, they have not looked great. I think South Carolina State,
Boy.
That was
it is a little it's a 6:45 home game and the line's only 4.5. That is a little nerve-wracking if you're a Gamecock fan.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to jump all over that Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I think I am. Another one who I'd jump all over is Tennessee plus 3.5. I think Joey Aguilar's looked really good. Gunnar Stockton hasn't. And like the strength of that Georgia team this year is the receiving core, which is the first time in probably forever we've said that. But Stockton just hasn't shown that he can get him the ball in an effective way in order to score enough points, and Tennessee has. I think with that Tennessee offense, I think it's just going to be – I wouldn't be surprised if they overhit, but I think Tennessee wins the game outright.
Man, Gunnar Stockton kid, he's the hometown Georgia boy, drives an old-school Ford pickup truck. It's kind of hard to bet against him because he's got he's got that Georgia peach in him.
Yep.
I can't go
another good one. There's another good one happening in Atlanta, and it's not at the Mercedes Superdome. It's at the home of Georgia Tech. Haynes King supposed to be coming back, playing against Clemson. They can't run the ball. Clemson's only favored by 2.5 points. Over-unders at 51.5. I think Haynes King gets it done, and they win outright as well.
Yeah, I'm all over Georgia Tech. I think Haynes King is going to go out there and take advantage of, Georgia being Clemson, and they're going to come out with a big win. And Another good game to look forward to through the season is that Georgia Tech-Georgia game this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia Tech get that upset.
Yeah.
But they almost got them last year. I was taking Georgia Tech as my upset this week until you two knuckleheads jumped on board. Now they don't have a chance.
Hey, what about those Texas A&M Aggies heading to South Bend?
Well, before we get to that, I was going to give my other – I was taking Georgia Tech plus a 3.5, my upset, but my sandwich special this week from Whataburger, you got that big game last week. You got a big game in the horizon, but right in the middle, you got to travel up to Philadelphia and play Temple and give 23 points. I'm not saying – I'm just saying Temple and 23 is the sandwich pick of the week.
You like that one?
I like that one.
I don't think they're going to beat them.
They're going to cover that, though.
I'm going to need my 23 points.
Okay.
I would take the 23 and run.
Now, segueing that into the Aggie game, your boy down there in Aggie land, they're average 430-plus yards in 2 ball games.
That ain't going to happen.
Your man against the spread in 2 years is like, I believe, 3 and it's not good. I think he's covered it's under 5. It won some games. But they're not one to cover, especially against top 10 opponents, where Notre Dame probably is. They hadn't played since they lost a heartbreaker to Miami. Cart, the dual threat guy, I don't know. I got to think, I got all my family as Aggies. I think I got to jump square on the back of the Fighting Irish in this one.
Yeah.
Taking them laying the 6.5?
I am.
Ooh.
Well, we'll sure get all those good picks from Gabe after the show and get them lined out for the weekend. Get them sent over to Shreveport.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into A&M, so I didn't go there.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick. I think Carter's really good. I think he looks good in that first game.
Hey, didn't you go to Charleston?
I did.
You got to give you some congrats on the big upset of beating Army.
Army, yeah. Well, is that really that big of an upset?
I mean,
what was it, 13 points?
That's a big one.
They had the longest losing streak in NCAA history when I was there. They were awful. I think they even lost to Prairie View. And then Prairie View took the record over for the fertility losses or whatever you want to call it. But when I was there, boy, they were bad.
Did you see how Ohio State did Grambling?
No, I didn't see that one last week.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Well, it's not as bad as our boy did our Oklahoma State punk.
Oh, gosh.
Mike Gundy took it right in the backside.
Yeah.
We called it, didn't we, Jalen?
we called it, man. Oregon looks really good.
Yeah, but they had their stinger up after Gundy ran his mouth.
Absolutely.
They gave it to a big 69-3. That's a long way back, though, Stillwater, Oklahoma. And I couldn't be more happier that they did them like that. They needed that.
I called him. Des was there to get him an interview, and I did the show on ESPN 1260. And he came on the show, but he said, man, I got 4 minutes. And I'm telling you, when that 4-minute hit, he hung the phone up. Didn't say bye. Didn't say nothing. 2 weeks I called him. He tells me in 2 weeks he's got 4 minutes on a random Tuesday. And he gave me 4 minutes, and he hung up. I've never liked him since.
Well, we hope they lose every game this season then.
Me and you both.
They just might. I mean, they do not look good.
Even though our girl Macy's up there, we'll let her win a few home games.
Yeah, we'll let her get a few home games. But I think Texas has UTEP this week. That should be a no-brainer right there. Hopefully Arch Manning can look a little better, I don't think he's hurt. Yeah, hopefully he's not hurt. AP Top 25 came out. Illinois is number 9.
They've looked good.
Nasty said it.
Altmaier.
17 starters coming back.
Yeah, the production was there. And then, wait, who's it?
Well, I could have chose them for the sandwich spot this week as well. They went down to Duke last week and got an easy win. They've got some directional school out of Michigan this week, and then next week they go on the road to play a top 25 team in Indiana. So Illinois could be in a flat spot this week as well, but I went with Oklahoma.
Who's the head coach at Illinois now? Why am I drawing a blank?
Bielema.
Yeah, Fred Bielema, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Wisconsin coach? Yeah. Altmaier looks good, and it's Western Michigan, I think. It's in Champaign. It's in Illinois. I think they covered. I don't think it's a sandwich game. Not worthy of it.
Since we got a few minutes left, who do y'all see playing for the national championship as far as week 3?
Week 3? Well, I mean, UCF is going to be that group of 5 team at this point. Beating 2 ranked teams. Quarterback looks good. USF. Yeah, you're right. I'm not a Scott Frost fan. And I think or Florida's just really bad. I don't want to think about that. But I think they're good. I want
to ask you. How many more games can Florida lose?
They could lose all of them, possibly. That's the thing.
No, I'm saying how many more can they lose and their playoff chances are over?
3. They can lose 3 total and still have a chance if they go through that schedule.
Yeah, if they're 9-3 by the end of the year, if they're 9-3, they're in the playoffs. I don't know how they're not with the schedule and who they have to play. That means they've beaten a Texas team, maybe they've beaten a Georgia team, they've beaten a Florida State team is going to be good. They've beaten an LSU team, maybe an A&M team, maybe. And so if they're 9-3 by the end of the year, especially after losing that first game, I thought going in 2-0 they could still be 9-3. If they're 9-3 after this stretch, there's no way. I think they're outside the top 15. Like they should.
Is it possible?
Can they go 9-3?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm not saying they can. If they do, that'd be cool.
Well, they're going to have to reel off 8 of the next 9 because they're losing on Saturday for sure. My 2 in the finals, if I had to pick right now, is LSU and Penn State.
LSU and Penn State.
Yeah, I would have.
Penn State can beat that Oregon team.
Man, all they do is beat Oklahoma State.
I think it's.
They just look so like the Oregon's offense just looks so electric.
Well, they were looking good last year too.
Yeah, that's true. They dropped the ball.
I've got Oregon, Miami. At this point, that front 4 looks good. Carson Beck. His problem last year wasn't that he wasn't good. It's the fact that I think they led the FBS in drops in Georgia. So it's if he's on his game, they're going to be very good, and they still are.
Well, we're gonna hold those picks tight throughout the rest of the season. We're gonna come back and make sure to look at them. But
no question. Well, who do you pick?
Who's your pick?
I was about to say it.
Who is Texas playing? Captain Homer.
Texas and Penn State.
Okay. Figures.
I can see that. Texas and Penn State. You can't count Texas out yet, Potts. You still got the best defense in the country. You know, March Manning has plenty of time to keep going. It's hard to count them out yet. It's still early.
It should be hard to count them out with that schedule they got.
Yeah.
Good night.
They don't have to play anybody.
1 road test at Georgia, they can lose that and still get in.
They'll probably lose to Oklahoma, but
if they lose to Oklahoma and Georgia, they're not getting in. Not with that schedule. No chance.
It's still weird having an SEC game at the Cotton Bowl. It feels weird.
It ain't the same.
No. Well, can your Texans rebound this week after laying an egg out on the West Coast Sunday?
I hope so.
Y'all are pretty hurt, aren't you?
Well, I mean, you've got Mixon on the PUP. Who knows if he'll ever come back? Nick Chubb's running the ball a bunch after 4 knee surgeries at this point. The offensive line was going to be a question. I thought they held up okay. They could have been a lot better. I was seeing on Twitter today, people are talking about shopping Nico Collins and see if he can get somebody younger. But I don't know. The defense is good. It's just going to be if that offensive line can keep C.J. Stroud upright, because the interceptions and the sacks went up by double as the first year. And so when you get rid of Laramie Tunsil, the kid out of A&M, and you're starting a rookie left tackle, it's kind of tough to get around those things.
Well,
it's the NFL lock of the week. Houston.
Some of our supporters want us to they want Nasty to talk more about the A&M Notre Dame game.
Houston -2.
We got hot comments coming in. They said we didn't talk enough about the Aggies. We need to talk more about the Aggies.
Well, I'm scared to talk about the Aggies. My brothers happen to hear. They're going to get mad at what I have to say.
Yeah.
They're commenting left and right. We ain't talking enough about the Aggies. We ain't talking enough about the Aggies.
What have they done to talk about?
I was actually at the game last year, and we're sitting down. I'm telling my brother got tickets, first row, 50-yard line. And they're going to storm the field if they win this game. I mean, you can already tell, and it's going nuts. It was one of the best atmospheres I've ever been in, but they just couldn't do anything in the fourth quarter. And do you think A&M is good as they were last year at this point? Because I don't. And I just think – I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. You know, they established a run game. They can't stop the run. It seems like. So you know, you go play Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's they have a freshman starting at quarterback, but it still doesn't take away the fact that it's Notre Dame, and they're going to be able to run the ball, and they're going to be able to play defense.
No Aggies I know like Reed at quarterback, like none. And I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know who's behind him. Like I said, I'm not an Aggie enthusiast. They haven't looked at
What'd you say?
These two games. I said
no,
the Aggies I talked to. I'm not saying that we talked to the same Aggies.
Number one Aggie we know in the world is obsessed with Marcel Reed.
Well, I got one brother that lives there and knows everything about it. And he does not like him.
I'm not completely sold on him. You'll see, they'll have an actual true testing against Notre Dame like they did last year. But, Marcel Reed beat Florida last year pretty handedly. But have they beat anybody handedly since?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Marcel Reed isn't going to throw for, 4 touchdowns in a game again, not against that kind of defense. And, it could be – I could be wrong. Colin Klein might have figured it out or figured out his style and, kind of molded it around Marcel Reed. But I just I don't think they get it done in South Bend.
Nasty, got another question before you came in. What is Nasty's favorite broadcast in his Lufkin Panther memory?
In football?
Yes.
It would probably be the win against Spring Westfield, if I had to, just off the top of my head. I believe that was we lost to Longview, I think, the next week in a heartbreaker at you mean good memories, right? Because I've got some bad ones that still eat at me.
They said your favorite.
Yeah, my favorite would be that one there. That was a really good one. But I really think the best memory of including any sport, would be in Huntsville the night that the year after Coach Outlaw passed away, we won that playoff game against the defending state champion Spring Decaney, Huntsville. And I'm telling you, Jabarius made a big catch in the end zone to kind of lock the game down. You looked up over I guess that's to the south, and then there is one lone star in the entire sky that night after the game. I'll never forget it, and there's no question that would have been my favorite Panther memory.
That's a good one right there. We got one more question. Well, we got 2 more for you. They're rolling them in tonight. Well, y'all keep rolling the questions in. We got some time left tonight. Nasty, who are your top 3 favorite Panthers of all times? That's got a sore subject. That's going. You're gonna upset some feelings right there.
Yeah, I can't. That's tough to just name 3.
Give us 5.
I mean, we're not talking about the best players. We're talking about ones that I like, not only on the field but off the field.
Yes.
Oh, well, Colton Williams is going to have to be somewhere on the list. That's for certain. Man, that's tough.
For you. We got another question for you after this one. Go ahead and knock this one out.
Let me think about that one for a week, and I'll come back with my top 5 favorite Panthers next week.
Quick one. Can we
answer this one?
Oh, that's a good
top 5 pitchers since 2000. Well, I got here in 2008, so it would have to be since 2008.
Yeah.
Top 5 pitchers since 2008.
You gotta go Green number 1. I already know that.
Well, of course, it's Green number 1.
Not JP Clifton?
Y'all trying to bait me into who y'all want me to say. I'm just not I mean, Clifton won a lot of games. There's no question. I think Gandy Stubblefield's got to be close high to the list. For some reason, I think Tyler was really good when he got to college, but he was injured most of his high school career, so he didn't get to that big of a dominance there. So I definitely. But Gandy was really good.
Alex
Man,
Luna
we've had a lot
won,
of
10 or 11 games that year, even though they lost to Texarkana on that dong by the kid that was going to Texas Tech.
See, yeah, there's a lot of kids like that, but you kind of got to put in. Did they do it in the postseason?
Yeah.
And
He won the one
my
game.
guy. We lost the game to it was Ditchworth's senior year. Of course, Ditchworth was a great pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he won 12 games his senior year. Who was his man that started game one for their series?
Game one would have been.
Was it DeJesus?
No, I see his face. He was really good too.
Bebo.
No, I don't think.
Bebo. That's who it was.
Bebo.
Yeah. Saw him in soccer field this weekend. I mean, he was really good as well as during that run. You know, Coach Cobb's had some really good pitchers that he's developed over the years, and I'm hoping he's got a couple coming up this year for sure.
Yep. Do you remember? Because I can still. This is one of the most vivid memories of me realizing that I am not the athlete that I always hoped I would be. Who were we playing in basketball at home when Kiki purposely missed the free throw?
John Tyler.
That was John. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
missed it off the back iron, got his own rebound, put it up in the same jump, ends up winning the game by 1.
That was nuts. Was that the same game your mom came in there looking for you?
No, it wasn't. It was not. No, because I saw the end of that game. That would have been sophomore year because Kiki was still there.
Yeah, now Kiki did that. That was a good run in basketball too. Yeah, there's another favorite Panther. I don't know how I could leave Kiki Kuti off the list. Not even on the court, but off the court, man, he was awesome. I haven't seen him in a while for sure. But yeah, I'll come up with that top 5 all-time Panther list though. It's gonna be tough to do.
Yep.
Well, we'll give you time until next week, but before we wrap this up, Gary, go ahead and take us out. Thank our sponsor. Before we do that, make sure to go like, subscribe, and follow Live for the Pines on all socials. Tune in to Jam Media Friday before the game. Gary, you got the time on what time we'll be coming on? 4:15?
Should be coming on about 4:30. Let's see. It's a 7 o'clock game. Coach Absex at 5:30. So, yeah, we should be live with our replay here, the encore presentation at 4:30 live on a Lufkin Game Time. That's Game Time Friday. Tune us in and lead us right into the Coach Carl Absek Coaches Show. And again, if you're out and about, stop in Wright Buick GMC and tell Austin the guys we sent you by. Tia Juanita's and, of course, all the great locations, not only here in Lufkin, but all over East Texas. What a burger. Those double meat, double cheeses, get it done. Our great local sponsors here bringing you our live football talk from the Pines here. And really appreciate you guys having me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you again, Gary. Hopefully go out and get a big Panther win Friday night. And can't forget, make sure you stop by the tailgate. We're going to have some fajitas going, and we'll be starting off at 5:30, wrapping up at 6:45 to get it time to maybe, see some famous Gary Ivins getting a call on the kickoff.
Let's go, Pack.
Let's get it.
Later.